So first of all, I have a soft spot for independent media because 12 years ago I started this program, and at the time I had YouTube, which I've struggled with for censorship recently, but we'll talk about that later. But the fact that you were able to create your own media, back in the 60s, by any means necessary with these various tools and using your living room and, barely scraping by to get the money to do it. I mean, I find that really inspiring. And obviously a lot of that was used in the Great Awakening. Fast forward 60 years ahead, why is this message relevant today? Because it clearly is, because it was a big part of that film. Why do people need to know about this today, especially in America?
Well, I think that's almost self-evident that what I was talking about back in the 60s was more in terms of, hey, everybody, if we don't stop this process, something really bad is going to happen in the future. Look over there. Don't you see those storm clouds on the horizon over there? They could come here. So that was then. And that's why most people weren't interested, because now those storm clouds are little ones and they're way away. They're not going to come over here. So now, why is it relevant today is because now the storm clouds are overhead and the lightning bolts are shooting down around our bodies right now. It's here. So nobody can be so complacent anymore. And I seldom hear people say, well, that could never happen here in America, because it is happening. And it's pretty clear that we're coming to the final stages. The window of opportunity to avoid the total collapse and calamity of society and civilization, literally, is closing. The time span is narrowing. We have to act now. So even the most willfully blind person to these things has to admit that it's happening, and it's going to affect their lives very negatively if they don't do something about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I went to Boston to go to school, and I graduated in '93. And I went back to Boston last year because my daughter is going to school there, and she just visited over the summer. And I kind of asked her in passing, I'm like, are people really talking about communism there? And she's like, yeah, the students talk about it seriously, like it's a viable option. And that wasn't happening in my school in '93. I remember seeing the Che Guevara shirts and stuff was coming out, but it was interesting for me to hear what's actually being talked about on university campuses, let alone what you're seeing the population talk about, let alone if you start taking it down the road of, the Federal Reserve and, CBDCs and UBI and all these other things that are coming. What are the things that you're seeing that shows that there are a part of the population that is really trying to go into socialism, which maybe then goes to communism? What are the things that you see that are these lightning bolts around us? And how do you make those things clear to people as dangers?
That's a tough one to answer, because it's a tough one to know where to start. There's so many things. I think all of the items that are of concern to me are destructive in nature. And by that I mean they're destructive of those pillars of tranquility and prosperity and liberty that we've enjoyed. I've enjoyed it most of my life. I mean, I've always been free to travel wherever I wanted to. I've always been free to express an opinion, even if it was unpopular. I've always been free, to say what I want, no matter, as long as I don't lie and injure their reputation or cost them their jobs or something like that. I can say, I don't like you. I think you're a so-and-so. I don't like your attitude. You're always too negative. You're always looking for faults. I could say that. Today, I can't do that. Somebody will say, well, you hurt my feelings, and I can go to prison. So that kind of thing, it wakes you up when you're used to having this thing called liberty and living in a system of freedom. And you see all these liberties and freedoms being taken away one by one, and with the approval of everyone. Everybody says, well, yeah, we don't like that, but it's necessary, for the greater good. It's necessary for society. If we don't do all these things we don't like to do, well, it's really good. Then it's really going to be bad. So in order for us to be good citizens and to do what we should do as good boys and girls, we have to go along with these tyrannical directives. That's what scares me the most, is the fact that people have conditioned themselves to think that they have to comply with this growth of tyranny because it's for the greater good of the greater number. And of course, that is one of the dictums of collectivism, is that any atrocity, any assault against our liberty, anything that's unreasonable or horrible can be justified as long as you can say that it was for the greater good. We can have false attacks on Pearl Harbor, which we did, and then we explained it to the people. Well, that was an act of statesmanship that President Roosevelt did to get us into the war, because if we had waited any longer, then the casualties of war would have been greater. And so you see, by getting into the war quicker and by deliberately killing 3,000 or 4,000 American sailors and convincing them that we didn't know about the pending attack and all that sort of thing, that was an act of statesmanship. And on it goes. You can look at 9/11. We knew that those guys were coming, and we didn't really do anything about it because we needed to get into this war against terrorism and back in the Middle East. And also we had to solidify our oil pipelines and a few things like that. So it was for the greater good, especially for the greater good of Americans. So to answer your question, I think the most alarming thing to me is that not all of these negative things that are happening, but that they're happening with so little pushback and so little concern on the part of the people that it's affecting. And they're taking it, they're accepting it because of this mantra of the greater good of the greater number. And now we're back to this issue of collectivism again, because that is one of the cornerstones of collectivism, is the false belief that these things are for the greater good.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.